Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. I hope you guys are all doing well today. Today is Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And the cool thing about making a card this way is that you have a starting point. And usually I design my cards the day before because I'm busy doing other things. And so it's nice to know that that starting point can help even an experienced stamper like me create a card relatively quickly. So I want to show you today. Good morning, everyone. I see people are starting to pop on here. So this is today's card. And look at the unusual layer. I don't think I've ever made a card with a layer like this that kind of comes off the page. So that's kind of a fun thing to play with. And so last night I did play around with that. And so for the sketch, that background piece is the card base, like 4¼ by 5½. And how you create the layer is you take around a 4 by 5 inch piece, you tilt it the way you want it, and then you cut off the excess. That's the best way to describe how to do it rather than, having different measurements. So I'm going to show you how I do mine so that you can see how to do it. But it's not hard. And I love having that slanted layer. I think it's kind of a fun thing to play with. So I hope you'll join in this week's challenge. Let me just see. I have a new laptop today, so I hope you guys will let me know if my sound is working. I had to reset everything on here. Let me see. There should be a place for me to add my comments on the side, and I don't see that. Just hold on. I need to see those so I can talk to you guys later on. Where are my comments? Okay, no, I don't want that. Okay, I can see your comment, Ellie, but I need to find my little comment overlay. Oh, there it is. Okay, now I can see your comments. It's always interesting when you have a new computer to try and figure out everything. How's okay, my sound is good. All right, that's great to hear because with a new computer, there's always different internal settings that you can do to make your sound better. And sometimes I have to tweak everything. It's my old laptop had severe issues with its keyboard. I was having problems. It was double typing letters. It was a keyboard issue. And so I really needed a new one, and I was waiting for the new versions of the MacBook Pros to come out, and they just came out last month, and I ordered one, and it came in this weekend. So this weekend I was setting everything up and getting everything ready, but there's still some things I have to play with. Good morning, everyone. Now I can finally see all your comments, and I will pop in with you at the end and talk with you guys. So let's start off, and I'm going to show you my card and how I made it. So let me switch my camera here. So here is my card, and I wanted to play this poinsettia stamp set and die set came out last year, but I really wanted to play with it again and look at what a gorgeous poinsettia that makes. And I thought that would be a nice thing to anchor down here at the bottom of the card. So I'm going to show you how to make that. And so let's just talk really quickly. I use the Poinsettia Petals stamp set. And then I'm also using the Poinsettia Petals dies. No, poinsettia dies. That's what they're called. And I'm going to show you what I did was I used this cling wrap. I need to go grab the name of it. Let me just grab it so I know. I set these up a long time ago, and I kind of just kept them on there. So I used press and seal, and because this die set, it has an outline and it has an inside that embosses. But if you want to use them together to make a lot of things, if you put press and seal on the back, you can get them perfect, and then you can just keep using them as kind of like one set. The reason they didn't make these together as a set is because you can also stamp and just cut out the outline, and so sometimes you don't want that embossing on the inside, so it gives you the choice. So that's kind of cool. All right, let me pop these aside and let's get started making this card. So we're gonna do all of our die cutting first so we can get that done and get that beautiful flower made. So I'm gonna let me just raise this up just a wee bit. And let me turn this around. I've got my die cutting machine here. And I've got my usual sandwich, which is the #1 platform, 2 thin die adapter, and 3 just a regular plate. And then we need our dies. And we're going to take a piece of real red. Real red is kind of my standard Christmas color. And of course you can make this in whatever color you want, but you know, real red is kind of my favorite color for Christmas. So I'm just going to put all 3 of these on here at one time, and we'll run these through really quickly and create the 3 layers we need for the flower. So let's just pick these off. Okay, here's the bottom one, and look at how nice that embossing is. And then here's the medium one. So cool, right? And then this bottom one, just kind of pressing on the center, the embossing part, and it kind of helps me release it. And there is the bottom piece. And it's so nice that I can just go ahead and just run this through really quickly with one sheet very easily. Okay, then we also need, okay, grab my other colors that I need. Let's shove this back over here. I need to cut some leaves, and I need to cut this gold piece right here, kind of the sprig. And then we're going to cut some leaves. I need a big leaf and 2 small ones. So let's do, and I did the same thing with the leaves that I did with the poinsettias. I put that cling wrap, that press and seal on the back. So so makes those beautiful leaves with the thing inside. And then this piece, we're going to need, just use a paper piercer or a little pin or a thumbtack, and that will just help you release that out of there. And that's just a beautiful little sprig. Okay. And then we need one more small leaf. So let's just add that on there. Oh, and just so you know, this is Evening Evergreen, which is, I'm going back and forth because it's easier than rolling it all the way through. Evening Evergreen is also one of my new favorite greens because it just looks so nice with the real red for Christmas. It's a very dark blue-green color, so it's just very pretty. Okay, I think we've done all of the die cutting we need. let's bring in our pieces, and I'm going to do a couple things. I want to take my petals and I'm just going to sponge a little bit of red ink on the edges. So real red on real red. Just go ahead. And you know what you could also do if you don't want to hold them up and get red fingers like I just did? Just take a little piece of scrap paper and you can probably more easily get around like that. And then that makes a pretty little image too, right? Maybe I'll make a card with this after. No, I'm kidding. This is just regular computer paper. I keep a little stack by my stamping area just so I can practice and make cards. All right, this one, I'm just going along the edges just to deepen them. Also helps bring out the embossing a little bit. All right, I think I'm almost done. All right, so we've done the embossing or the sponging, and then we're going to assemble the flower. First, let's take the little petals and just run them on a bone folder. I'm just kind of taking them and just curving them a little bit. It's going to add just a little bit of dimension to the flower. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, just kind of give the petals a little flick. That way they don't look quite as flat. All right, and then we will, the largest flower, we'll add a little bit of Tombow to the back of the medium flower, and then just press and hold that a bit. And then we'll take the smaller flower and you're just angling the petals so they go in between each other. So my son gave me some poinsettias for my birthday. So I don't know, maybe that's why I wanted to use poinsettias today, because I've been looking at these beautiful poinsettias in the dining room and they just look so beautiful. All right. Okay, so then what we can do is let's go ahead. I think we've got all our pieces. So let's go ahead and create the backdrop for the poinsettia. So I'm using this paper, and I've been using it a lot. It's really great Christmas paper. It's called Painted Christmas, and it's got a lot of kind of not vegetation, foliage, leaves, berries, greens, pine cones. So it's a really nice Christmas paper, really nice backdrop for your cards. And this piece measures 5.5 by 4.25, so the same size as a card base. And then I've got a piece of basic white, and this is 4 by 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm trying to angle this on here the way I want it to look. Okay, so I'm just kind of playing around. I've got probably 3/8 of an inch here and maybe just about 1.25 inches here. And I kind of like the look of that. So you want to cut this before you stamp on it because you need to kind of know where the edges are. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of Tombow to this area that I know is actually going to be on the card. So now I'm serious. I've made a decision. I'm going to use Tombow. So I kind of need to know where I'm sticking this, and I have to be happy with where it's going to land. Okay. So now we're going to take the back of this and trim off the excess. And it's really easy to do if you flip it over to the back and you just cut right along here. You could probably also do this on the trimmer, but I kind of just like doing it right with the scissors because I tried doing it with the trimmer last night and it was just a little hard to get it lined up perfectly. So I think scissors, just a nice sharp pair of paper scissors. I'm using our paper snips here. And so that gives you the look of the angle. So now we're going to stamp our greeting. And I'm using Evening Evergreen. And we have this beautiful verse that says, "May magic and wonder bloom this holiday." So I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to leave a little room to put ribbon there. And I'm going to follow this angle here. So just maybe about here. Okay. And then I'm going to take this stamp. It actually is a filler stamp for one of the foliage pieces, but it's just a bunch of dots. And I thought that would make a nice little backdrop for our piece so it doesn't look so bland. So I'm just going to take Sahara Sand, stamp once off, and then stamp once on. And just kind of give it a little bit of interest. Maybe one more coming off of here. All right, so just kind of give some random dots so it's not so stark and white in that corner. All right, and then we're going to take our flower. And for that flower, you just, oh, one more thing, I need the ribbon first because that's going underneath. So I'm using the Evening Evergreen ribbon and it's just so pretty. I love these sheer ribbons. So we're going to lay this on here and then we're going to put some tear and tape on here. So I'm just going to take about 1 inch of tear and tape. And this is going to come this way. Let's just check. I want this to come this way. About there. So this is going to fold over right about there. So I'm just going to take off the backing of this. And now let's get this first side situated. So I've got this where I want it. And then I'm going to just push that over the back and it's going to stick onto that tear and tape. It's not perfect. There's a little bit of tear and tape adhesive sticking out over the edge, but that's okay because we're going to glue this to a card base in a moment. So then we're bringing this piece over to this side and then this comes this way. So I just want to take another piece of tear and tape and stick this kind of like this. Okay, good. And then we'll just remove the backing off of here. Come on. It wants to stick to the backing. All right, and I have no fingernails right now. You ladies with the beautiful fingernails, I admire you. I just don't have the time or the energy for that. They're so beautiful. Okay, so there we go. And then we'll just put that along there and take our scissors and trim that off. Okay, great. So why don't I take this and put it on the card base right away so it's anchored on there. So I'll just go ahead. So this card base, I started off with 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored the 8.5 inch side in half on the 4.25 inch side. So it's just a regular card base for a landscape card, half sheet of cardstock, scored in half and folded. Okay. All right. So now we're going to add the poinsettia. And for that, you just kind of want to play around with the placement a little bit and see where you want it to land. I think that's a good spot. So I'm just going to turn this over like this. Just put Tombow right in the center, or if you want a bit more dimension, you can use a dimensional. And then just put it back where you want it. This, that's going to do is it's going to allow me to tuck the leaves in after it. So I just want to put a little pressure on here, make sure that's really stuck. I've got real red hands right now. That's just lovely. Just lovely. Ah, tissue. Get rid of some of the real red on my hands so I don't transfer it onto my project. That I got from sponge daubing in the air. Don't do that. Sponge daub on a piece of paper or wear gloves or something. Don't do what I did. All right, so now I'm going to take the two smaller leaves and tuck them up here. We're going to glue them in a second, but I want to kind of get an idea of where I'm going to place everything. This stem is a little long, so I'm just going to cut it down shorter so I can tuck it in as far as I want it. Okay, that looks good. And then we've got the bigger poinsettia leaf. I'm going to kind of tuck that in there. Just kind of decide where you want it. I don't know. Maybe I put it over here this time. Yeah, maybe I'll put it there this time. I don't know. Let me put on my champagne jewels because then I'll kind of get an idea for the flowers. So for these, I use a bigger one and two smaller ones. I thought the champagne jewels would be just a little bit, have a little hint of yellow, so it would look nice with my gold right there. Okay, so do I want it here? Or do I want it over here? The way my flower ended up last time, you know, I'm always playing with things. Where do I place them? Do you do that too? Do you move them around? I don't know. I think I'll put my leaf there this time. Okay, so now we're just gonna go ahead and glue everything into place. So I'll just put some dots of Tombow on the back of here, and then just tuck it in here, kind of where you want it, and then press down. And for these guys, I'm just going to add a little Tombow onto the bottom part, not all the way, and then I'll just lift and tuck, and then press down so they stay in, and do the same here. Press down, and then the last one. Okay, and then we'll just lift this one up. Here, here, right there. Okay. All right, and there is the card. And here is the first card that I made. So a little different leaf placement on the two cards, but they're still cute, either one. And I love, let me bring this down a little bit because I got up a little high. There we go. I love how you can just change it out for each card. The angle's going to be a little different on each one depending on how you cut this piece. So you can play around. I think this has a steeper angle to it. So you just kind of have to play around with the placement and how you like the placement. So there are the cards. Oh, one other thing I did before I go, I actually added an angled piece to the inside of the card. So I thought to match, I didn't want to have the front of the card be angled and then the inside is all straight. So I thought I'd do the angle for the inside. So I kind of did the same thing. So let's just take a piece of 4¼ by 5½. And we're just going to put Tombow on this part, on the top part. And then we'll just kind of angle this where we want it. Kind of like that. And then press down. And then we'll bring in our scissors again. And I know this is weird to cut things off on an angle, but I like to kind of mimic what I'm doing on the front and have it relate to the inside. So all right. So then you can take, this flower also comes with the set. It's kind of more of a standalone flower because it shows the full bloom of the poinsettia as opposed to each individual kind of layer of the poinsettia. So then you can just kind of angle this however you want it so it fits on here. And if you want, you could choose a smaller floral as well, but I kind of like that big flower because I'm really good at making the cards, but I'm terrible about writing on the inside of the cards. Oh my gosh. My sister's really good at writing the inside of cards. Really, really good. And I cannot hold a flame to that. She's just so good and I am not so good. So I like it when there's very little space to write, so I can just write a really short, sweet message rather than writing a long message. So that's how I did the inside to kind of go with the outside. So very, very fun cards. I hope you like them. Let's come back over here. And I want to mention just real quickly, I have a supply list for everything I use. It's down below in the description of this video. And if you want photos to go along with that, still photos, then click the link. The first link is a link to my blog post, which also has a supply list. So everything is kind of central on my blog if you want more information on that. So today is the end of the month, so I'm switching over my host code gift tomorrow on December 1st. And this month, or let me grab it from over here. If you spend $50 with me still today, November 30th, 2021, you will get a package of miscellaneous glimmer paper, different colors, cut in 6x6 format, and those will be going out very soon in December for everyone who ordered at least $50 with me in November. And then no matter what size your order is, just as long as it's $15, you'll also get to choose one of my tutorials for free. So that's just a perk. So if you spend $50, you get both the tutorial and the glimmer paper for this month. And I have a link down below, and it links over to my host code page because since the host code changes every month, I just send people over there. That way you can get the code, even if it's the beginning of the month. If you want to place an order right on the 1st, the host code will be waiting for you so that you can place your order right away. All right. One other thing, since this is the end of the month, the starter kit special is ending today. So that's really the best deal of all. So if you are ending up spending a lot of money on your supplies, think about getting the starter kit. that starter kit has a discount built into it afterwards. So right now the starter kit is $75 and it's normally $99. So you still get the same amount of product for the $75 starter kit. You get $125 worth of product. So you're getting a little extra right now in November. So you're getting like $50 versus $26 extra. So it's a really good time to get the starter kit. I suggest it if you want to use that as your Christmas gift. Get yourself the $75 starter kit, and then next month or that you're on your next order, you'll start receiving 20% off your Stampin' Up orders, and that's a really nice perk, and it will help you save a little bit of money if you're ending up spending a lot of money each month. All right, let's have a look at your comments and let's take a look. Good morning, Connie from Denmark. Hello, Holly. Good morning, Janine. Oh, and thank you so much for replying and letting me know about my sound. Hello, Ellie. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Kristen from Colorado, and Dee from Missouri. Good morning, Karen from New Jersey. Good morning, Holly. Let me just see if there's anything I need to address. Okay, Karen said, just so you know, it seems that when you move it gets blurry. I don't know if anyone else is seeing that. Yeah, you know, that is my the way I've got my video set up, and that was always the case even with the old camera. So that may be something I address in the future to get the video quality up. It's a little tricky with cameras and things. You need to convert the signal to work on to do lives and stuff. So it's just a little trickier to get everything just perfect. So thank you for mentioning that. I do know that's on my radar, and it's probably something I will fix in the future. Hopefully it's the video quality is clear enough that you can see what I'm doing, and I'm pausing enough so that you can see what I'm doing. But thank you for mentioning that. I'm sorry if that's bothersome. Does anyone else like pink poinsettias? Ellie said. I would love to try and make those. You know what? I would just use pink cardstock. Probably. I think Flirty Flamingo. I think would make a really nice pink poinsettia. So yeah, I mean they're beautiful. I'm a traditional Christmas color girl, so I have a harder time doing the pinks, but they are really pretty too. Karen loves pink poinsettias. Oh, she makes them with Blushing Bride. Thank you, Karen, for mentioning that. Since I do not make poinsettias, it's a good to know what color to use. I haven't. You know what I do when I'm creating with nature things is really I open up a browser window and I do a search. I'll like do poinsettias and then I click on images. So all I want to see is images as the category. And then I have a look and see like how to, sometimes you won't need to know how to build a flower or a color or all of that. Is just really helpful to have like a real life image. And there's so many images that will come up when you, usually when you do an image search. Karen also loves Evening Evergreen. I really enjoy Evening Evergreen. It's so beautiful. Okay. All right. Let's just have a look. Janine says, I know this is probably a goofy question, but do you wrap the cling wrap all the way around the dies or just on the back? Oh, it's not a goofy question because it's probably one that I would probably have thought of too. Let me grab one of my erg. Let's see. All right. So on the cutting side, you wouldn't put it on the cutting side because it would cut through it. And so it would probably not stay very well, and it would probably impede the cutting part. So you just put it on the back, the non-cutting part. And what I did is I took like a square at first, and then I just kind of trimmed around it a little bit so I didn't have like lots of overhang on there. And when I set these up, I know I made a card last year that required like all the different layers, and it was kind of I had to cut all the layers, and it was time consuming. So I wanted to have all of these kind of already ready to go. And so I've cut a whole bunch with these. So it does, it might eventually wear down so that it starts breaking apart, but it does go for a long time. All right. Hello, Alice from Indiana, and thank you for sharing my video. Hello, Betty from Oregon. Dee says she loves the asymmetry of the ribbon and the white cardstock, and the poinsettia is really pretty too. And the stamped off dots work well with the gold sprig. Yeah, I wanted to have like just a little bit of, you know, interest back there, just so it wasn't so white. And also on the original card, there was something stamped in that corner, so I kind of wanted to be true to the card. Karen, thank you. She says it's definitely a wow card. And Holly loves the inside. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad I remembered to show it. And Dee likes the inside too, and so does Kristen. Well, thank you so much, guys, for all your kind comments and for joining me this morning. I really, really appreciate it. And so on Friday, I will be back. Last week, I sent out my little Tic Tac covers, but I set them out on Wednesday. So I hope you got that 3D tutorial. But I will be back on Friday with a 3D or a fanciful card. So join me over on YouTube for my live video then. It will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I can't believe tomorrow's the start of December. It kind of crept up on us, and now it's here. So I hope you guys all have a great start to that, and I hope to see you on Friday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.